Today we will be discussing, apart from this informal discussion, which was equally important. Let us move on to our formal discussion for today. We are going to discuss April paper of 2023. Once again, the solutions are not given. For those who were not there for my first lecture, a quick recap of a general understanding of how you should study. I have already shared the syllabus of 8, 9, 10. What are the topics that come under chemistry? And I've also grouped them topic wise. So if you take any one topic, mole concept, for example, where will you find it in 8 standard syllabus? Where in 9? Where in 10? Which books of SSC, CBSE, ICSE? So you can plan to study two ways, either standard wise that finish 8 standard, 9 standard, 10 standard of one board, or you can plan to study topic wise. Like you choose mole concept and you study entire mole concept from all three standards, then choose another topic. That is one way you will have to choose the best way. Second is you have to keep in mind that all the questions are going to be numerical. So your every answer for any question will not be beyond 00 and 99. It will not be anything besides 00 to 99. So only 100 answers are possible. It will be a two-digit number. That is the benefit, that if you are getting some answer which is above 99 or in decimal or in some other form, then understand to yourself that you have made some mistake. Your answer has to be essentially between 00 and 99. The flip side of it is that if you get some two-digit answer which is wrong, you have no parameter to cross-check whether it is correct or wrong. For MCQs, you have 4 options, so you at least know that your answer is one of it. Here, there are 100 options for every answer. So that is the flip side. So you have to be very, very conscious while entering your final answer and avoid making mistakes. That is second important tip. And third is, while reading the entire syllabus, you have to bear in mind that finally, whatever we will ask, we will have to convert it into a numerical. We will not be able to ask any theory questions to you, like define this, state this, give reasons. No verbal answers can be asked. So if we wish to check whether you know the reason for something, we will have to modulate the question such that the final answer is a number. So while reading the theory, if you change your spectacles and through your magnifying glasses, every theory line, if you can think की ह्याचं न्यूमरिकल कसं होऊ शकतं, ही इन्फॉर्मेशन न्यूमरिकल फॉर्म मध्ये कशी विचारली जाऊ शकते. These kind of filters, if you put to whatever theory you read, you will be better friendly to our type of questions. And none of our question ever goes out of the syllabus of 8, 9, 10th SSC, CBSE, ICSE. So no need to read any extra book besides this. Master the concepts. Forget the words, master the concepts, because we will most of the times focus on the concepts. Very few things we expect you to know by heart. One is the reactivity series. That is one thing we wish that you know by heart. Then we expect, or we will appreciate, if you know the first 20 metals of periodic table, starting from hydrogen to calcium with their atomic numbers. It will be a great advantage if you know the S and P blocks of periodic table by heart, which will give you the cutting edge of landing on the answer comparatively faster and in a more effective way. The total time available to you is 3 hours. So if you develop some such quick skills, and by the way of which you will be able to finish the chemistry questions in lesser time, you will be able to give that much time to physics and maths, which will be more application problems than chemistry. Chemistry is most of it is theory, except mole concept, which is a stoichiometry or a numerical aspect of chemistry. Okay. So now we are not going to share these lectures or the lecture notes to the participants after the session. So whatever you see on the screen, I will appreciate if you note it down and avoid taking screenshots. Last class, towards the end, some child requested and I shared the pages and it took screenshots, which I really did not appreciate. We expect you to understand the question and make your own notes, and using that as a ladder, you explore your own journey for the exam. All right. Now, on the first question, 1 mole of potassium chlorate, when slowly heated, produces a gas and a salt. What will be the mass in gram of the gas that is liberated? Very, very specified things are there. What we need to understand, first of all, what is potassium chlorate? So we need to know the molecular formulae of all the compounds that have appeared in the textbooks of 8th, 9th and 10th anywhere. We may pick up any compound from anywhere and we may design a different question on it, something that is not there in the textbook in that format. So potassium chlorate may be there somewhere else, but not in this format. But you must know what is the formula of potassium chlorate, KClO3. This is the first thing. So what is that you will draw from this question? Do I know the molecular formulae of each and every compound that has been referred to in 8th, 9th and 10th in any corner of the textbook, directly or indirectly? जे compounds आले त्या सगळ्याचे मॉलिक्युलर फॉर्म्युले मला माहिती आहेत का? जर नसतील तर एक दिवस बसून तुम्ही तेच करू शकता. जे माहिती आहेत ते माहिती आहेत, जे नाही माहिती आहेत ते assimilate करून टाका. Then you must know what is 1 mole of potassium chlorate. And you must know this reaction. We are not going to take any reaction which is not there in the textbook. So you must know each and every reaction that has occurred in the textbook in wherever, whichever lesson, in whichever forms. So when potassium chlorate is heated, what is going to be the reaction? It will give KCl and O2. If you know the reaction, you need not by heart the balanced reaction. See where to unload yourself. काय माहिती असणं अपेक्षित आहे की पोटॅशियम क्लोरेट हीट केल्यावर केसीएल आणि ऑक्सिजन मिळतं, अजून काहीही मिळत नाही, हे 2 प्रोडक्ट्स मिळतात. पण 2KClO3 2KCl + 3O2 हे पाठ असायची गरज आहे का? नाही. If you are good at balancing equations, you can very quickly balance it on spot. So remember only what is most essential. We call it as minimum memory required, MMR. Balanced equation is not the minimum memory. What is minimum memory? KClO3 when heated gives KCl and O2. I quickly balance it. This is called as the thermal decomposition. And very clear hint they are giving us that a gas is liberated and a salt is liberated. So that hint you get that there is no third product. Now they are asking the mass in grams of the gas. So what is the conversion coming here? From mole to mass. They are saying 1 mole of KClO3 is heated and they are asking us the answer in mass. So as we discussed in our last class, these conversions, like we do our metric conversions, meter to centimeter, centimeter to kilometer, centimeters to inches, or we do conversions from Kelvin to centigrade. All these things we know the conversion factors. Like that, we must be very quick at converting mole to mass to gaseous volume, the mole triangle conversion. If you are comfortable and fast, you will be very efficient and confident while solving the question. So when I balance the equation, what do I come to know? That 2 moles of KCl3 gives me 3 moles of oxygen. So my answer in moles would be 3. But when I carefully read the problem, I understand that I am supposed to enter the answer in grams. If you miss out reading this, you may enter your answer as 0.3, and in spite of doing the question correct, you will get 0 marks. The flip side of 0099 pattern, that the last answer will give you the marks. Okay? So please read each and every question very carefully, see in what form the answer is asked, and convert your answer to the same form. So now I need to convert 3 moles to grams, and then I should know what is 1 mole of oxygen. Now here again, many a times students are confused that 1 mole of oxygen should be considered as 16 or 32. ऑक्सिजन जेव्हा म्हटलं जातं, जर का O2 म्हटलं तर तुम्हाला कळेल की O2 आहे म्हणजे 32. पण जेव्हा ऑक्सिजन, when it is said oxygen, should I consider it as 16 or should I consider it as 32? Always remember that when we talk in terms of reactions, oxygen in nature is never in nascent form, single O form. It is always as molecular oxygen. So whenever we say that oxygen gas is liberated, it is definitely O2. And also, as we see in this equation, it is 3O2. It is not 3O. So here, what will I take the molar mass? I will take it as 32 and not 16. And then 1.5 mole. What do we know? 1 mole is equal to molar mass. Here, molar mass will be 32. Same is true for hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, bromine. When these gases are liberated, they are always in molecular forms, and therefore their molecular mass should be taken twice as their atomic mass. Okay. At the same time, when it comes to HCl, it is only one C. So you will take single atomic mass. So look at the compound and decide to yourself what will you take. You will get this whole list on the top of your paper. Please do not by heart the atomic masses of elements and atomic numbers and atomic masses. Do not by heart. By default, if you remember elements from hydrogen to calcium, that will be an added asset, but everything will be available in the useful data. So nobody is expecting you to by heart atomic masses and all. So now the question comes, 1 mole is 32 grams. So 1.5 moles will be how many grams? And then my answer comes 48. Okay. If you know this reaction, this will be a 1 minute or 1.5 minute question. So ideally, you get in 1 hour or in 3 hours, you all are doing 30 questions. So 1 hour, 10 questions roughly. So you get 5 to 6 minutes per question. If you are very well prepared, chemistry can give you the cutting edge. If you are very well prepared, you may not need 5 minutes in chemistry questions. No screenshots, please. Whatever you wish, you can take down. I'm hanging around on the question for quite some time. Now, you can save a lot of time in chemistry questions if you are very well prepared. So take chemistry as your asset and not as a sankat. I know that maths, physics people, chemistry is like a big curse and compulsion ki अरे हे काय आम्हाला करायला लागतंय. But if you take the correct approach, you will be able to use it to your asset. त्यातला time save करून तुम्ही तो maths physics मध्ये वापरू शकता. Now As we have discussed last time, mole concept, you should be very, very thorough. And like this reaction, now this reaction has come once. So definitely this question is not going to come. But will this reaction come? Yes, it can come in some different form. Instead of moles of oxygen, moles of KCl may be added, may be asked. Something else may be asked. So same reaction can occur, but same question will never occur again. As I have
Last
always,
question.
yeah, as I have always told, yes, any problem, anybody? As I have always, अथर्व, काय problem है? As I've always told, the same question never gets repeated in any MPI entrance. So if you are doing one particular question, please don't do that question. Please take that question as your hint to understand similar other question. सेम क्वेश्चन बाय हार्ट करून शून्य उपयोग आहे जर का त्यातली कॉन्सेप्ट कळली नसेल तर, कारण तोच प्रश्न येणार नाहीये. 10वी-12वी सारखे पेपर पाठ करून आलात आणि कॉन्सेप्ट नसेल, ऍप्लिकेशन नसेल तर काही उपयोग होणार नाही. सेकंड क्वेश्चन. In the year 1866. Now again, what is the important part of the question that you have to highlight? That the moment you see, then Newland, the moment you see, you know that this is a question on Newland series. And what is Newland? The only thing about Newland that we have learned is octaves, law of octaves. So then comprehend the question very fastly. If you already know Newland's octaves law, according to his periodic law, chemical and physical properties of the fourth element would resemble with the xth element. We know that every eighth element as per Newland shows the same properties. So eighth element after 4 is 12. If you know Newland's law of octaves, this is a 30-second question. 30-second question. And along with Newland now, quickly revise all Dobranius triads. And you already know it. No need to revise. Don't waste your time on that. What you know, listen to me very carefully. What you know very well. And you need not do it. You're not going to forget it for the next 12 days. You have your exam exactly 12 days after today. Today is Thursday, next Sunday is your exam. मग पुढच्या 10 दिवसात काय अभ्यास करायचा? जे आपल्याला नक्की माहितीये की मला माहितीये आणि हे परत वाचायची मला गरज नाहीये ते वाचू नका. Don't increase the bulk. In the last 1 week, your bulk of studies should downstream. जे नक्की येत आहे ते कॉन्फिडंट राहा आणि keep it aside and only revise those things on which you are doubtful. आउट ऑफ द होल चॅप्टर हे नक्की येता हे हे जरा गडबड आहे तेवढंच वाचा. जे नक्की येत आहे ते वाचू नका. डाऊन साइज युअर बल्क. दॅट इन दॅट वे यू विल डिस्ट्रेस युअर सेल्फ. नाहीतर वेडे व्हाल. येस अथर्व, एनी डाऊट?
Ma'am, in question number 2, your answer is 12, but in question paper it is given as 11.
That is a mistake. That I had given the correction. The answer should be 12. Because if you see the 8th element after 4th element, it will be the 12th element, not the 11th.
Ma'am, if means same mistake happens in our paper, so we will get bonus marks or
No. What? How will you get bonus mark?
Ma'am, as your answer is
you will get marks only for the correct answer.
okay.
Yeah. If the answer key is wrong, then we will correct the answer key. We will not give you the bonus mark of writing the wrong answer. Okay. Third question. Now, I think we have discussed this aspect last time also. Total number of atoms in the formula again. So that again brings us down to the requirement of knowing the formula of each and every compound mentioned in the book. You must know what, in short, what are we asking you over here? Potassium dichromateचा formula काय आहे? Do you understand? What do we wish to ask? What is the formula for potassium dichromate? But we can't ask it because then it will become a theory question. So we convert it into a numerical, that if I take one molecule of potassium dichromate, it will have how many atoms? So if you know the formula of potassium dichromate, you will know it is K2Cr2O7 and the total number of atoms is 11. Total number of atoms is 11. So you must know all the molecular formulae. I found a list of cations and anions and radicals in standard 9 SSC book, chapter 4, page 56. There is a big list. You have the PDF available. Those who are not SSC students need not buy the book for that much. You can just copy this page and cross check that you know all these cations, anions. Some rare cations, anions may also be there. Chromate, dichromate, chlorate, chloride, chlorite, sulfide, sulfite, sulfate. As a general rule, IDE, chloride, sulfide, iodide, bromide are singles. Chlorides are Cl, HCl. Bromide is HBr. Sulfide is H2S. So ides generally have single atoms. Ite and ate. Ite are the lower valencies, ate are the higher valencies. So sulfite is SO3, sulfate is SO4. Nitrite is NO2, nitrate is NO3. Okay, so if you can categorize and the general prefixes and suffixes, then per when it comes, per sulfate, per chlorate, see what changes you get in the formulae. Okay, but you must essentially know the molecular formulae of all the compounds that are referred to in any, because that may give you such easy questions offhand. Here, the child who doesn't know the formula of potassium dichromate is going to lose a very easy mark. 5 मार्क मिळणार आहेत एवढ्या छोट्याशा फॉर्म्युलासाठी तुम्हाला, लक्षात घ्या. So these are small things that will help you. And then now instead of number of atoms, they may ask you how many moles of oxygen are there. Now here 1 mole of potassium dichromate will have 7 moles of oxygen, and this will be 7 moles of atomic oxygen, not molecular. And then what will be the molar mass of only the oxygen part? Here it will be 16 into 7, not 32 into 7, because these are O7 atoms, not molecules. So this discrimination या गोष्टी पक्क्या डोक्यात पाहिजेत आपल्याला. की फक्त विचारलं की पोटॅशियम डायक्रोमेट मधला 1 मोल पोटॅशियम डायक्रोमेट मध्ये how many grams of oxygen is there? There you will do 16 into 7, not 32 into 7. So when you see one question, become a paper setter and see what other questions can come on the same. त्याच्या लेफ्ट राईट अप डाऊन पुढे मागे काय येऊ शकतं, तो अभ्यास आहे. हा प्रश्न कळला आणि हा प्रश्नाचं उत्तर आलं म्हणजे अभ्यास झाला नाही. या प्रश्नावरनं तुम्हाला काय प्रकारचे प्रश्न येऊ शकतात याची एक आपल्याला हिंट आली. सो चेंज द वे यू स्टडी. डोंट स्टडी द क्वेश्चन. What volume of oxygen gas in ml would be required to react with nitrogen monoxide gas to produce 500 ml of nitrogen dioxide gas under similar conditions of temperature and pressure? A very important law in chemistry is the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. It says that
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes,
Ma'am, you told the answers would be in between of 0 to 99.
हो, या पेपरला एनी न्यूमेरिकल होता आन्सर. That is why it is coming 250. But your exam, it is going to be 0099. So here, for example, the real answer is 250, but we wanted it in 0099. We would say that find
by 10.
find this thing, volume in gas in ml, call it A and enter the value of A by 5 वगैरे असं काहीतरी येणार. म्हणजे थोडक्यात तुम्हाला कळतं की तुमचं जे आन्सर आहे त्याला फायनी डिवाइड केल्यावर एक 2 डिजिट नंबर येतोय अशी शक्यता आहे. आम्ही असंही म्हणू शकतो आन्सर तुमचं 20 असेल तरी पण आम्ही म्हणू शकतो A by 5 टाका आणि मग आम्ही 04 ला करेक्ट देऊ शकतो. एनिथिंग टू goof you up. But generally, when you will get instructions like this, that enter A by 2, enter A by 3, enter A into 2 वगैरे असेल तर डेसिमल असणार आन्सर. ज्या अर्थी 2 ने मल्टिप्लाय केल्यावर 0099 येत आहे त्या अर्थी A ची व्हॅल्यू डेसिमल. But in this paper particularly, it must have been any numerical. So then 250 was the correct answer. Okay. Now, the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes is a very important law which states that under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, gases will combine in the simple ratio of their volumes under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. It is a very important law. Let us try to understand why these statements are so very important. Okay. If I take 1 mole of gas at STP, I know its volume is 22.4 liters. 1 mole of any gas, 1 mole of any gas at STP, it will be 22.4 liters. Then half mole of any gas at STP will be 11.2 liters. What is standard temperature pressure? It is 1 atmospheric pressure and 0 degrees. So if I reduce the mole to half and keep conditions STP, my volume will become half. Suppose I take 1 mole of gas and instead of 1 atmosphere, I take half atmosphere. What will happen to the volume? It will increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Pressure is decrease. किती वाढेल? Pressure half झालं तर volume किती होईल?
Double.
Double होईल किती? So if I take 1 mole of gas at half atmosphere, then its volume will become 44.8 liters. So if I increase the temperature, we have still not learned formally the temperature coefficient, but we know that every 10 degrees Celsius increase in the temperature and the volume gets doubled. You will learn it. But so what we say that when we change the temperature and pressure, the change in volume is very, very specific. So if I have a reaction which has all gases, suppose I'm reacting H2 plus O2 to form H2O vapor gas, or I'm reacting S plus O2 to form SO2 gas. If all the reactants and products are in gaseous state, then is it really important for me to run all these reactions at STP? Or if they are at any constant temperature and pressure and the variation in their volume will be in the same ratio. If I am reacting H2 and O2 to form H2O, my reaction balances as 2H2 plus O2 forming 2H2. S plus O2, 1S, 1O2 gives me SO2. So 2 moles of hydrogen reacts with 1 mole of oxygen to give me 2 moles of water in gaseous water vapor at STP. But suppose instead of STP, if I take, instead of 1 atmosphere, if I take 2 atmospheric pressure for the whole system, the ratio still remains the same. Please understand that. So this clause that at any constant temperature and pressure for gaseous reactions, for this Gay-Lussac's law, 2 clauses are very important. All the reactants and products have to be in gaseous state. If one of it is in liquid or solid, the whole dynamic will change. But if all the reactants and products stay in gaseous state, and if the temperature and pressure is constant for throughout the reaction, then this is a simple ratio of their volumes. So if I take this reaction, 2H2 plus O2 gives me 2H2O. What do I know? 2 volumes of hydrogen combines with 1 volume of oxygen to give me 2 volumes of water vapor. Now, again, some of you may feel that 2 volumes plus 1 volume should give me 3 volumes. Why is it giving 2 volumes? असं कसं होऊ शकतं ना, 2 लिटर मध्ये 1 लिटर घातला तर मला 3 लिटर मिळायला पाहिजेत ना, 2 लिटर कसं बरं मिळतात? या गोष्टीवर विचार करावासा वाटला तर करा. कारण for us the time is too short. If we finish the paper quickly and if we are spared with some time, we can definitely come back to this discussion. How 2 volumes plus 1 volume gives me only 2 volumes? What is the glitch in the clause? But remember for now that if I have 2 volumes and if I take 1 volume of oxygen, I will get 2 volumes of water at given temperature and pressure. So if I am taking volume in any unit, if this is 2 liters, it will react with 1 liter to give me 2 liters of water. If this is 2 ml, it will react with 1 ml to give me 2 ml of water. If this is 3 ml and I take 1 ml of oxygen, what will happen? How much water vapor will I get? If I take 3 ml of hydrogen and I take 1 ml of oxygen, how much water vapor will I get?
2 ml.
Only 2 ml. Why?
Ma'am,
जरा धक्का मारून लोकल ट्रेन सारखं घुसवता येईल का मला? घ्या रे 3 ml
no
सांभाळून
ma'am,
घ्या रे
because
जरा.
there
असं
no
होऊ
ma'am,
शकतं का?
because there is enough oxygen.
Correct. So I have only 1 ml oxygen and 1 ml oxygen can react with only 2 ml hydrogen. So if the question is, how many ml of water will I get? My answer will be 2. If my question is, what will be the volume of the product after the reaction? What will be the volume of the container?
3.
काय राहील volume?
Ma'am, 3.
3. कारण 1 ml hydrogen unreacted राहणार. What will be the or they may ask you what will be the volume of the unreacted component? Then it will be 1 ml. कळतंय? एकाच रिएक्शन मधनं किती क्वेश्चन्स निघाले? एक क्वेश्चन येऊ शकतो, what will be the volume of water formed? It will be 2 ml. Second question can be, what is the total volume of the reaction mixture after the reaction? It will be 2 ml of water plus 1 ml of unreacted hydrogen. Then third question can be, what is the volume of the unreacted component? That gives you a hint actually that something is remaining unreacted. Your answer will be 1. So these are the several questions, but very first, what we need to understand about this question is that if all the reactants and products are in the gaseous state, then it is simply an addition or of the volumes in the ratio of their balanced equation. For example, here it was 2 H2 plus 1 O2 gives 2 H2O. So the ratio of the volumes will go as 2:1. 2 and 1 gives me 2. Here it is already a balanced equation. Or is it already a balanced equation? NO plus O2 gas gives me NO2. What are they asking? What volume of O2 gas in ml will react with nitrogen monoxide gas? Okay. So, wait a minute. 500 ml of nitrogen gas. So how will this reaction go? If I balance it, it will be 2NO plus O2 will give me 2NO2. Here it is not given in the balanced form. It is 2NO plus O2 gives me 2NO2. So 2 volumes of NO will react with 1 volume of O2. How much NO is getting used? 500 ml. This is my mistake over here. This should have been, either I should have balanced the equation or I should have written 2NO and 2NO2. And so this will give me 500. So 500 ml of NO reacts with half the volume. So 250 ml of O2, and it will again give me 500 ml of NO2. Oh my God, ये क्या हो गया? Same question again. 500 plus 250 should give me 750. How is it giving me 500 ml of NO2? Think on this. We will come back to it if you can think and if you can answer. But is this question by and large understood? And the very important aspect, what is the benefit of this law? That if all the reactants are in gaseous and same temperature pressure, it becomes a simple numerical. Balance the equation and then it becomes a very simple numerical. You don't have to put any mole, anything, nothing. Simply add the volumes in the ratios given and you will get it. You will get your answer. But you need to check on 2 things. One, that all the reactants or products are in the gaseous state, and second, that the entire reaction continues at the same temperature and pressure. Is it understood? Can we move to the next?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now the fifth question. What is the total number of acidic radicals among the following? Okay, by the way, how many of you have already attempted this paper and got the answers? I had given it to you as your task last time. So anyone who has done this question and would like to give the answer? Yes, very good. Yes. Shreyas, how would you do this question? What is the total number of acidic radicals among the following?
Ma'am, the acidic radicals are the negatively charged ones.
Yeah.
So that just gives the answer.
As simple as acidic radicals are negatively charged and basic radicals are positively charged. Can someone tell me why so? काहीतरी मॅजिक वँड आहे का? आब्रा कडब्रा पाठ
Ma'am?
केलं काहीतरी. Yes.
Ma'am, because acid contains H plus ions, so the means other ions will be negative, and as bases contain OH minus means OH negative ions, so they will contain other as atom as positives.
Correct.
So
Perfect.
that's why acidic atoms are negatives.
Yeah, acidic radicals. Radicals that give us acids are acidic. So if I want some radical to give me acid, I will need it to be associated with H plus as very basic. As we go ahead, we will learn there are so many acids which do not have H in them. But as a very basic understanding, we know that all acids have H and all bases have OH. So if I want some radical to give me an acid, I need to associate it with H. And H is going to be a plus radical. So what will associate with H has to be a minus radical. Similarly, all bases will have OH, the basic Arrhenius concept of acids and base, or hydracids and hydroxides. Then if I want something to be associated with OH minus, it has to be a plus charge. So simply the radicals which are negative in charge will be acid radicals, and the radicals which are positive in charge will be basic radicals. Okay. So now again the question comes that here this is again a very simple question, those who know what are acidic radicals. This becomes a 30-second or 1-minute question. Just carefully observe how many negative radicals and your answer is done. Okay. But if the formulae are not given and they give you the names, sulfate, ammonium, phosphate, fluoride, chloride, bromide, ferrous, aluminium, sodium, then you must know the molecular formulae of those radicals also. So once again, this reference list of cations and anions, because some basic radicals you may know, but you may get confused in some complex polyatomic anions. There is only one polyatomic cation, which is NH4+, which has more than one elements in it. All other cations are generally singles. Sodium, aluminium, calcium, magnesium, single. Polyatomic cation, ammonium is the most popular and probably the only one which we refer at this stage at least. But we have many polyatomic anions. Chlorates, nitrates, phosphates, sulfates, sulfides, perchlorates, persulfates, and so many others. Hypophosphates, perphosphate, dichromates, okay, manganate, potassium permanganate. So please go through this list and confirm to yourself that you know the molecular formulae of acid. If we wish to take this question to the next level, this must have been a filler question because we generally try to keep the level that at least every child who has moderately studied should get 2 to 3 questions at least. Who has properly studied should definitely get at least 5 questions. So 2, 3 questions will be easy. So this is a very easy question. But if we wish to take it to the next level, then we may not give you the formulae. We can just give you the names of the radicals. In that case, you should be in a position to identify the molecular formulae of the radicals. And as I said, when this is a listing type of question, how many total number? You make one of the elements on the other side and your answer goes wrong. These are very slippery questions. When they ask how many, if the name molecular formulae are not given, only the names are given, then you make mistake in one and you lose all 5 marks. So these become very slippery questions. Your basics should be very good. Please do not ignore 8th standard and 9th standard textbooks. Sometimes some very basic questions come from 8th and 9th, which may help you to, cut through 2 to 3 questions, and then another 2, 3 questions you are able to cut through, then you cross that 50% requirement. Remember, 50% questions you have to do correct means clear, you know that you can go wrong in 50% questions. लक्षात घ्या. आपल्याला वाटतं किती कठीण परीक्षा आहे, पण आपल्याला when you want to beat the system, as you go ahead, your cognition will be important. But right now, for cutting through the exam, आपल्याला 5 उत्तर चुकायची परवानगी आहे. मग काय करता येईल? जे टॉपिक्स आपले चांगले आहेत ते अजून कन्सॉलिडेट करा in next 8-10 days, and the topics which are worst for you, just check if they are very important. For coming to chemistry, I would say mole concept is a very important topic. You cannot ignore it. Then organic chemistry is a big chunk, you cannot ignore it. Then general periodic understanding, periodic table, periodic trends. These are very important topics. You can't ignore them. But then if you are bad at some little side topic, you can keep it aside. Don't spend your energy on that. Focus on what you know very well. Okay. Now the next question. Identify from the following the total number of redox reactions. We have done redox reaction. These are typically the reactions that have reduction and oxidation in them. Redox. The reactions that have both reduction and oxidation in them. Let us see a better way of looking at reactions. Once again, this is a very slippery question. At least here they have mentioned redox. So you're just supposed to identify redox and non-redox. Otherwise, they may simply give you 10 reactions and they may ask which of these reactions are possible. तिकडे आपल्याला multiple parameters लावावे लागतात. की possible on the basis of reactivity series, possible on the basis of redox, possible on the basis of double decomposition. There are so many parameters which make a reaction possible, impossible. So this is a comparatively straightforward question where we simply need to distinguish between redox and non-redox reaction. Okay. Coming to the classical definition of oxidation and reduction. How do we define oxidation? Oxidation is addition of oxygen and reduction is addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen or removal of oxygen. And this is removal of H. Okay. So wherever you add oxygen in on the reactant side, it becomes a redox reaction. So for example, if you see this reaction, Mg plus O2, oxygen is added to Mg. So this is, yes, a redox reaction. Okay, then here oxygen is removed. So this is a reduction reaction. I will call this as an oxidation reaction. But is it a redox? Is every oxidation reaction a redox reaction? This is a reduction. आत्ताच बघितलं आपण thermal decomposition. This is reduction. But is it redox? You may have such questions. Is it redox? Is it oxidation? Is it only reduction? So I would want to give you some very quick hints towards this. What are redox reactions? Understand very carefully. See, when I'm adding oxygen, Ca to O2, I get CaO. Okay, I will definitely call this an oxidation reaction. Or if I heat CaO, I will get Ca and O2. I will call it a reduction reaction. But then is it a redox reaction? How do we find it? Let us try to look at this with respect to electronic transaction. What happens when CaO is formed? Ca becomes Ca2 plus and O becomes O2 minus. 2 electrons are transferred from Ca to O. Why I need 2 calciums for 1 oxygen molecule, or I will need 1 calcium and 1 oxygen atom? Because every calcium, what is the electronic configuration of calcium? Can someone tell me?
2, 8,
2,
8,
8, 2.
Right. So there are 2 electrons in the outermost shell, and therefore when Ca becomes Ca2 plus, what is happening? It is giving 2 electrons. And who's taking these 2 electrons? Oxygen, which is 2 and 6. It will take these 2 electrons and it will become 2 and 8, O2 minus. So what is happening? Calcium is giving electrons and oxygen is taking it. And each calcium will give 2 electrons, each oxygen will take 2 electrons. So for 1 oxygen molecule, I need 2 calcium atoms to make it a balanced equation, so that the number of electrons given is equal to the number of electrons taken. Now, when I'm giving electrons, I say, what is getting oxidized over here? Calcium is getting oxidized, isn't it? So when calcium is getting oxidized, calcium is giving electrons. And here in the Ulta reaction, CaO or MgO, if I heat, I get Mg plus O2. What is getting reduced over here? What is getting reduced over here?
MgO is getting reduced.
But in that, what is getting reduced? Mg is getting reduced or O is getting reduced?
Mg.
Mg is getting reduced. So what is happening? Mg is going from +2 to 0. Do you understand this? So Mg is going from +2 to 0. That means Mg2 plus, which had given its 2 electrons, is getting it back. And here calcium is giving electrons. So when I say calcium is getting oxidized, calcium is losing electrons. And when I say Mg is getting reduced, Mg is gaining electrons. So if you take a broader understanding of what is oxidation and what is reduction with respect to transfer of electrons, we come to a very general rule for redox reactions. Oxidation is loss of electrons. Reduction is gain of electron. Oil rig rule. Remember oil rig, and you will never be confused कि कधी electrons lose होतात आणि कधी electrons gain. Whichever species is getting oxidized is losing electron. So it is going from 0 to plus state, or it is going from minus to 0 state. So in short, on number line, the species is moving in the right direction, rightwards. If you see its valency, or in a broader sense, we call it as the oxidation number. When oxidation number goes from left to right for a species, that species is getting oxidized. And in a reaction, if one species is giving electrons, there has to be another species which takes the electron. Otherwise, that reaction will never take place. So an oxidation reaction is essentially a reduction reaction also. We can never have a reaction which is only oxidation, not reduction, or only reduction, not oxidation. इथे calcium oxidize होता है, oxygen reduce होता है. Oxygen is going from 0 to -2, it is gaining electron. So if one species is losing electron, there has to be another species that gains electron. Therefore, redox or reduction oxidation goes hand in hand. We can never have a reaction which is only oxidation or only reaction. First, remember this rule. So every oxidation reaction is a reduction reaction. Every reduction reaction is an oxidation reaction. So if you are very sure that some reaction is an oxidation reaction, there is some species which is taking the electron. And if there is some reduction reaction, there is some species which is losing that electrons which are being gained by the reducing species. So that is one rule that you will remember, that it is always a couple, redox. Then how do we identify whether a species is undergoing oxidation or reduction? A very simple way to identify is that if some element on the left-hand side of the reaction is getting converted into a compound on the right-hand side, it cannot get converted into a compound without losing or gaining electron. So in the reaction, if you see an element on left-hand side and a compound, its compound on the right-hand side, it is a redox reaction. Reverse. If you see a compound on the left-hand side and it has become into an element, म्हणजे काय आहे की कंपाऊंड मध्ये तो एलिमेंट प्लस किंवा मायनस व्हॅलन्सी मध्ये आहे आणि when it is converted to element, it is in zero valency, it is a redox reaction. So without looking into कुठली species oxidized झाली, कुठली species reduced झाली, simply you see an element on one side and its compound on the other side, or a compound on one side and the element from that compound isolated on the other side, it is blindly a redox reaction. At this stage, understand only this.
Ma'am, so we can say that every combination and every decomposition reaction is a redox reaction.
Yes. Then third rule, some standard. Now, how will I know whether the oxidation number has changed or no? For example, I give a reaction like H2O plus SO2 forms H2SO3. आता इथे पण कंपाऊंड्स आहेत, इथे पण कंपाऊंड्स आहेत. मग कसं कळणार? तर त्यासाठी we need to know a property called as oxidation number, which is something more specific than valency. Every element has only one valency, but an element has multiple oxidation numbers depending on the compound in which it is. So note down some very basic rules of oxidation number. Elements of group 1 and group 2 always have a fixed oxidation number. It never changes. So all elements of group 1 will always have +1 oxidation number. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Their oxidation number will never be different than +1. All elements of group 2 will always have oxidation number +2. Beryllium, calcium, magnesium, strontium, barium, all that. It will never change in any compound. Then, for elements from group 13 to 17, group 13 to group 17, the range of oxidation numbers. The range of oxidation numbers is the number of electrons in its outermost shell, 3. 3 minus 8, that is the ultimate value, that is minus 5, to 8 minus the number of electrons needed to complete the shell. Minus 5 to plus 3 will be the range of oxidation numbers possible for group 30. Any element of group 13 can never have oxidation number less than minus 5 or more than 3. Group 14, it will be minus 4 to 4. Group 15, it will be minus 3 to 5. Am I right? Yes. Group 16, it will be minus 2 to 6. And group 17, it will be minus 1 to 6. Understand this? We will see why we need this theory, very important. Note it down, all of you. So now coming over here, okay. Now another very important rule for oxygen. Oxygen falls in group 16. So technically, it can have any oxidation number from minus 2 to 6. But oxygen being the second most electronegative element, which is the most electronegative element in the periodic table?
Fluorine.
Fluorine. Oxygen is next. So in whichever compound oxygen comes, it will always be more electronegative than any other element except for fluorine. Only when oxygen combines with fluorine, it will be less electronegative. So we will have compounds like OF2, where F is minus 2 and O is plus 2. For every other compound, oxygen will always be minus 2. And for peroxides, H2O2, very specific peroxides, O2, oxygen will be in minus 1 oxidation number. So except OF2 and peroxides, wherever you see oxygen, directly give it minus 2 number. Very important rule. You will need to identify which of these reactions are redox and which are not. So understand oxidation number rules. Group 1, group 2, always wherever you see any element from group 1, directly assign +1. दुसरं काही असू शकत नाही. Group 2, 2. Group 13 to 17, this is the range. It cannot go below this. It cannot go above this. And oxygen, for all compounds, it is always minus 2, exceptions OF2 and H2O2, Na2O2, peroxide. Taken down all these rules?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now wherever there is no change in oxidation number of any element, it is a non-redox reaction. There is no change in oxidation number means what is happening? No give and take of electrons has taken place. Wherever there is change in oxidation number, some electron, one species, even if one species is showing change in oxidation number, that means definitely there is another species which is showing change. So if you are not able to find second species, either you are missing out on second species or you have wrongly identified one species. Always remember. So now come to this reaction. इथे काय आपला सेकंड रूल वर्क होत नाहीये की इथे सगळे कंपाऊंड्स आहेत. इथे पण सगळे कंपाऊंड आहेत, इकडे पण सगळे कंपाऊंड आहेत. CaCO3 forming CaO plus CO2. All compounds on left hand side, all compounds on right hand side. How do we know whether this is a redox reaction or no? Then we need to see if there is any change in oxidation number. Now oxygen will be -2 here. Oxygen will be -2 into 2. So -2 -2. So see what will happen here.
Plus
To
4.
compensate this -2, S has to be +4 here. And here O3 will be -6. H2 will be +2. So S remains +4. So nobody is changing oxidation number. This is a non-redox reaction. Then here O3 is -6, Ca is +2. So C has to be +4. Here O is -2, C is +2. Here O2 is -4, so C is +4. Nobody is changing oxidation numbers. So this is a non-redox reaction. Similarly, any double decomposition reaction is always a non-redox reaction because it is just breaking and making of ions. You have NaCl plus AgNO3. All 4 ions are formed. Na plus Cl minus Ag plus NO3 minus. They cross combine. No change in oxidation number. So all double decomposition reactions are always non-redox reactions. Just like I think Aditi pointed out, all combination reactions are always redox because element gets converted into compound. All decomposition reactions are always redox because the compound gets converted into element. Similarly, all double decomposition reactions are always non-redox reactions. Single decomposition may change from time to time. Some of them may be redox, some of them may not. Are these points clearly understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So now let us come to these reactions one by one now. Is everyone able to see the question paper now? I have changed tab. The question paper is on the screen now?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It's not it. Okay. So what do I need to do? Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us see the reactions one by one. Here, is this redox or no?
No.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Yes.
Rule number
First.
2 ना पहिला आपण काय बघितला का पहिलाच हा बघितला कंपाऊंड कन्वर्टिंग इनटू एलिमेंट इकडे SO2 आहे इकडे S आहे रिडॉक्स हो की नाही कंपाऊंडचा एलिमेंट झालाय रिडॉक्स म्हणजे इथे SO2 आहे तिथे S काय असणार आहे +4 मध्ये असणार आहे आणि एनी एलिमेंट इन इट्स एलिमेंटल स्टेट विल ऑलवेज बी 0 so +4 oxidation number converted to 0, this is redox. Here, कैसे लो
Yes,
3?
it is.
Yes, because once again, O3 in compounded state has become O in elemental stage. Okay, here it will be 0, here it is -2, so redox. This one, redox or no redox?
Redox.
Redox. Element is converted into compound. Here it will be 0, here it will be +2. Redox. This one, redox or no redox? Yes. This is redox or no redox? Who will tell?
Yes.
Redox.
Why?
H2
is
has
an
one
elemental form.
इथे
valency
H2
0.
झाला ना यार. इथे आहे का H2? नाही ना?
No.
No. Now coming to the nuances of these organic reactions, we may have to go into deeper. But if you take the molecular formula C2H6 on, this is again thermal decomposition. So as someone pointed out, it is C2H4 plus H2. Simply compounded hydrogen has become elemental hydrogen. Here it will be in 0. Here it will not be in 0. It will be in -6. So it's a redox. Now come to this FeSO4. Now here we will need that. इतना पूरा रामायण अभी तक पढ़ाया, उसको यूज तो करना चाहिए ना कहीं तो. So here let us see how the oxidation numbers are changing. FeSO4 is getting converted to Fe2SO4 thrice. What is the valency of SO4 ion?
-2.
-2. So here if SO4 is -2, Fe has to be +2. Here SO4 3 minus will make -6. To compensate that, I have only 2 Fe's. What will Fe2 become here?
+6.
+6. So each will become +3.
Yes, ma'am.
So has Fe gone from +2 to +3?
Yes, ma'am.
Oxidation number of Fe has changed. So redox. You see one species changing oxidation number. त्याला दुसरा असणार कुठचा तरी, तो आपण आता शोधून काढूया. की आता इथे बघा, K is group 1. So what is the fixed valency of K?
1.
1. O is always -2. So O4 will be -8. So what must be Mn over here?
+7.
Plus
Plus.
7. To compensate and to make the compound as whole 0. See what is happening here? SO4 is 2 minus. So what must be Mn?
+2.
Plus 2. So Mn is gone from +7 to +2. Fe goes from plus. Obviously, if one species is going rightwards, is oxidizing, another species has to go leftwards, na, to reduce.
Yes, ma'am.
So Fe is going from 2 to 3. Mn will go from 7 to 2. It is going leftwards. Fe is going rightwards. So this is a redox reaction. Will you be able to identify like that now?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember the basic rules, ground rules, and then it is not difficult. Now again here we just now saw it is a non-redox reaction. This is redox or non-redox?
Redox.
Redox. क्यों?
By rule 2.
By rule 2 of compound का element होगी.
मम्मी तुला फोन दे ना पटकन. नीट संपले माझं.
Here
सोड पटकन.
find out here what will happen. These are all standard elements. Ca will never change. O will never change except peroxide. Only when you get H2O plus O2 forming H2O2. O will go from -2 to -1. So wherever there's a peroxide formation, you have to be very careful about oxidation. It is a redox. Whenever normal oxygen becomes peroxide, it is redox. Otherwise, or normal Ca, Ha, OA, this is non-redox. Look over here. Redox or non-redox?
Redox.
Redox. HCl का Cl2 हो गया. Cl कंपाउंडेड कंपाउंड में था, Cl एलिमेंट में आ गया. रिडॉक्स. यहाँ पे
Non-redox.
non-redox, because we have compound. Here also therefore compound. But here, look, Cl is standard -1. Okay. In all chlorides, Cl will always be -1. So here, it is a simple addition reaction. Now, NH3 is one deceptive compound. Normally, how we write the molecular formula, we always write the more electronegative element towards right and the less electronegative towards left. But NH3 is one exception where N is -3 and H is +3. Because N is more electronegative than hydrogen. God knows who designed this formula. It should be H3N actually. Why we call it H? So N is -3, H is +3. Again here, Cl is -1, H will be +4. So N will be -3. So this is a non-redox reaction. So which of the following are redox? A is redox, B is redox, C is redox, E is redox, G is redox, and I is redox. And total number of redox reaction was 7 का साल 7. So only 3 were non-redox. This, and this. Is this concept very clear? I've spent a good bit of time on it, but I think now this kind of question or any other question in which there will be the concept of redox or the reaction taking place or no, you will be able to apply this. All double decomposition reactions are always non-redox reactions. All combination decomposition are always redox, and for others, you will have to apply the oxidation number concept. Okay, let's move to the next question now. How many CH2 groups are present in the ester produced when ethanoic acid reacts with ethanol? Now, I tried to serve your books, but you're not having a lot of oic acids, carboxylic acids, but this is a very particular reaction which is there in this chapter, 9th chapter, where this reaction is given of formation of ethyl ethanoate. Not many esters are discussed in your curriculum, but understand what are ethers and what are esters as general groups. Okay. ROR dash are ethers and RCOR dash are esters. Coming to a very, very general understanding about functional groups in organic chemistry. This is one chart that I found somewhere, but you may have your own chart that these are the very typical functional groups in organic chemistry. You must know their structural formula and how they get attached to the alkyl thing. Okay, alkane gets converted to alkyl, and to that we add the functional group to give the particular compound or the particular, what you will say, category of compound. For example, if I say aldehydes, also remember few things like this, that aldehyde is always on terminal carbon, CHO. What is aldehyde and ketone? Both are CO groups. But when this CO groups comes in the middle of the chain, it will become the keto group. So keto is typically RCOR dash. For every ketone, there has to be at least one carbon beside attached to the carbon to which the oxygen is attached. And aldehyde group is always on the last carbon. So whenever we are giving the nomenclature for aldehyde, that will always be C1. Unless there is double groups, but I don't think you have the nomenclature of double functional. So whenever you are naming an aldehyde, you can never have that aldehyde on C5. You can never have what will say penta 5 असं कधीच नसणार. But you can have pentan 2-one. That will mean that this carbonyl is on the second carbon. But you will never have pentan 5-al. असं कधीच नसणार or pentan 3-al असं कधीच नसणार आहे. कारण al group हा always terminal carbon असतो. Similarly, COOH group, carboxylic acid group, will always be on the terminal carbon. COOH, you will never have, for example, pentanoic acid, pentan 2-oic acid. असं कधीच नसणार. So remember that aldehyde and carboxylic acids will always be on the terminal carbon, and keto will always be on the middle carbon. So whenever it comes to which of the following, you may get compounds like which of the questions like which of the following names are correct. Which of the following names to the compounds are correct? Which of the following compounds can exist? Always remember, al and oic acids will be terminal, and ones can be has to be in the middle carbon. Keto group, जर का pentan 2-one जर का pentan 5-one झाला तर तो pentan 5-one नाही राहत, तो pentanal होतो. pentan 5-one किंवा pentan 1-one कधीच होऊ नाही शकत. pentan 2-one, pentan 3-one, pentan 4-one होऊ शकतो. But 1 आणि 5 नाही होऊ शकत. छोट्या छोट्या गोष्टी लक्षात. This is a very particular reaction which you must know as a reaction. Formation of ethyl ethanoate. And then you must also know the structure of this CH3CO, CH3COO, CH2, CH3. So how many CH2 groups are there? The answer is 0, 1. You must know the structure of this C, 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 COO, CH2, CH3. So only one CH2 group I'm having. So simply we want to know how many children know this reaction and how many of you know the formula of the product that is formed. That's it. If you know the formula of the product, if you know this reaction, and those who are good parrots, those who've already parroted so many things to score 99%, 100%, 102% in your school boards, for them this should not be a difficult question. Because here there is not a lot of application expected. We are just trying to check how much you have digested or understood or by-hearted your textbooks. Those who are good parrots can cut through with this reaction. We need not go into the mechanism of this reaction because that will be digging into deeper organic chemistry, which is most definitely not expected at your age, at your syllabus level right now. You will eventually do it when you will go in 11th standard. So ethanoic, now also, how is the nomenclature of oic acids done? In oic acid, the carbon of the functional group is considered in naming. So this is CH3COOH. It is actually methyl group attached to carbonyl acid, carboic acid. But while naming, I will not call it methanoic acid. So I can, and then HCOOH will be methanoic acid. Its formal name is formic acid. Informal name is formic acid. And ethanoic acid is acetic acid. Some common names you must know, like we saw in our last discussion. Ethylene, acetylene. Ethylene is nothing but ethene, C2H4. Acetylene is nothing but ethine, C2H2. Some common names you must know. They will be used to confuse you. Understand that if the question is simple, the terminology will be difficult. And if the question is difficult, the terminology will be simplified to the downest extent. A very simple rule. जिथे क्वेश्चन खूप सिंपल आहे ना तिथे कठीण टर्म वापरणार की इथिलीन मध्ये जे कोणी गुफप होतील ज्यांना कळणारच नाही इथिलीन म्हणजे काय किंवा इथिलीन म्हणजे ऍसिटिलीन पकडतील काय काय लोक इथाईन पकडतील ते गणले तसं नाव हिअर इथॅनोइक ऍसिड म्हणजे काय ते आयुपॅक नेम लक्षात आलं पाहिजे ऍसिटिक ऍसिड माहिती असेल तुम्हाला CH3COH पण इथॅनोइक ऍसिड म्हणजेच ऍसिटिक ऍसिड आहे हे माहिती पाहिजे. So, what hint will you take from this question? You must revise all the functional groups and try to list at least the first 4 to 5 homologs for each functional group. For example, if you take OH, alcohol, then CH3OH, C2H5OH, C3H7OH, what will be their names? Then aldehydes, first 3,4, ketone, first 3,4, then the possible isomers of ketone. For example, if you take, how much time do we have? Yeah. Suppose we are taking isomers of, for example, pentanone we are taking. Then for pentanone, what are the possible bridge structures? I can have all 5 carbons like this. That will be N-pentan. So, and then I can have carbonyl on C2, that will be pentan 2 on. Or I can have carbonyl on C3, that will be pentan 3 on. If I put it on this carbon, will it be pentan 4 on?
No.
What will it be?
2.
Pentan
2. Because then my nomenclature will start from here. So with pentan, N-pentane, I can just have pentan 2 on or pentan 3 on. If this carbonyl comes on this, it will become pentanal. This or this. If it is on this or this, it is pentan 2 on. If it is on this, it is pentan 3 on. So with pentanone, N-pentanone, I have only 2 possible isomers. If I take a branched chain, then what are the possible things? Can I have a double bond here now? No,
No.
because already 3 valencies are gone. Can I have a double bond here? On here? No, it becomes I. Can I have it here? No. So the only place remains is this. Then it will be 1, 2, 3 methyl 2 pentanone. Okay, so play with things like that and consolidate your understanding of organic chemistry. Understand all the groups R, O, R dash. R is always an alkyl group. So if you have 2 alkyl groups attached to O in between, then it becomes an ether. And if it is attached to COO, now this is ethyl ethanol. See how this is named? This is ethyl ethanoate. हा इथाइल ग्रुप आहे आणि हा इथॅनोएट आहे. इथे CH3C आहे. म्हणजे काय हा CH3COOH चा H गेला आणि त्या जागी इथाइल आला. म्हणजे दिस इज मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ इथॅनॉइक ऍसिड. सो इथाइल इथॅनोएट. सपोज इथे H असता तर तो इथाइल मिथॅनोएट झाला असता. हा एथ कुठला आला आणि हा एथ कुठला आला लक्षात घ्या. इथे दोन्हीकडे 2-2 कार्बन्स आहेत, पण इकडे समजा मी इथेनॉलच्या ऐवजी मिथेनॉल घातलं असतं तर मला मिथाइल इथॅनोएट आलं असतं. नॉमेनक्लेचर कसं जातं ते बघा. ओके, सो deeply understand things, play with things, enjoy things. If you are going to take the pressure of exam and I have to somehow cut through and give the exam, then you are on the wrong track. All these courses, IITs, medical, then IAS, CA, all these high academic or high profile courses are for education lovers. Those who love subjects, please don't go for IIT because you want to have a high salaried job or you want to go abroad and all that. That is the wrong, what do you say, intention of doing IIT. You will suffer. Okay. Unless you love the subject, you will not be able to do these courses effectively and you will not enjoy them. It is very important that you enjoy these things. रमून गेलं पाहिजे आपण अभ्यासामध्ये. कटकट वाटत असेल तर यू आर नॉट मेंट फॉर IIT. टेक इट एज अ फर्स्ट व्हेरी सिम्पल हिंट. की त्रास होत असेल अभ्यास करून, वैताग येत असेल, काय डोक्याला लागले कटकट, आईला ही परीक्षा दिल्याशिवाय आम्हाला पुढे जाता येत नाही, then you are not meant for this. Okay. Now here, simple again, what are we trying to see? How many of you know these reactions which have appeared in the book? Al2O3 plus A. A is a compound that gives me NaAlO2. These are two different reactions from two different places in the textbook. Reactions of sodium hydroxide. This reaction comes in manufacture of aluminum. Alumina मध्ये येते. And this reaction comes in organic. What is the common thread? Both the reactions have NaOH in it. So we are simply trying to see now this is combination. You must know this, you must know this. And then you must also know the byproducts of this. Another hint is that in both places there is a common byproduct. So if you know one of these reactions, that yes, I know this, or if you know this reaction, you will get a hint to this byproduct. If you can, so this can be your second round question. If you are not very comfortable with such questions, you can keep this in the second round, or you can even skip it. First, pick the most obvious and straightforward 5 questions, because a difficult question will also give you 5 marks and an easy question is also going to give you 5. But for the ones who really want to go ahead of 5 questions and 6 and 7 or 8 questions, if you know this reaction thoroughly well, then you will know that it is A is NaOH and you have to identify C. So the first thing is that you must know what is A. Suppose you don't know what is A from here, if you can identify it from here, then you can put it here and try to see what will be the result. And then probably you'll recollect this reaction that yes, CH3COH plus NaOH is giving CH3CONA. And then it is a molar mass of this. So this is difficult, definitely a challenging question. It is not a very simple question. It is a challenging question. Many steps are there. This is not just one step question. First, you must know this reaction. Then you must know this reaction. Then you must know the byproduct. and you must not confuse it to water, because again you will have the hint की जे दोन्हीमध्ये कॉमन आहे ते बी आहे, म्हणजे जे उरलंय ते सी आहे. पण ह्यातला बी कशाला आणि सी ला नॉट नेसेसरीली ना मी NH3HCO प्लस H2O लिहीन, मी म्हणेन मला H2O प्लस CH2CONL हेच आहे. So what makes you identify that this is B and this is C? Because this is also coming here and it is water. So definitely water is B, and therefore I am interested in CH3CONL, sodium acetate. And then I have to find its molar mass. So these atomic masses will be available. Then it is not difficult. Once you know this, it is not. Addition will give you the answer. But this is definitely a question that will dig into how deeply you have done your 10th standard syllabus. All organic reactions should be known. See, this is indirectly going to help you in your board exams also. So I don't think for chemistry, you are diverting too much. Whatever you do for your MPI entrance, you will have it as ready hand. Or if you have already given your one or two prelims of your schools, you may be knowing many of these by hearting questions जे आहेत ना, ते तुम्हाला सोपं होईल. ऍप्लिकेशन ओरिएंटेड जे आहे तिथे तुम्हाला थोडंसं चॅलेंज. राईट द मॉलिक्युलर मास ऑफ chemical X from the chemical reactions given below. Once again, from your applied chemistry, formation of bleaching powder. Moment you see now, out of all these compounds, if you can identify X from one of these reactions, you need not know all three reactions. So in a way, it is a simple question. If you know one of these reactions and all these reactions come together in bleaching powder. So if you are confused on one or two, but if you are sure of one, then understand that this compound is a little rare compound, CaOCl2. This is CaOClCl, CaOCl. So because this is a rare compound, we are giving 3 reference reactions. So if even in one of it, you know what is X, then you know it. And then you need not look into the remaining 2. So as such, it is a simple question. And then finding the molar mass of C. Now, once again, this was a paper where 127 was fine. Otherwise, we may give you find X and enter X minus 100. So you know X minus 100 is a 2-digit number. So my answer is some 3-digit number. Small hints you can take. Because 127 is not, is it divisible by 3? 7 plus 12. No, it is not divisible by 3. It's not a very easily divisible number. 2, 3, 5 ने नाही. मग आता आम्हाला तर हेच विचारायचंय. मग आम्ही काय करणार? We will say enter X minus 100. Or we may अजून तुम्हाला कन्फ्युज करायला आम्ही म्हणू enter X minus 35. तो पण एक 2-digit number आहे. So small hints you can take. You have to be very vigilant. कावळ्यासारखी नजर पाहिजे प्रश्न वाचताना. If you miss out on one small detail of the question in the anxiety of your time and all the other questions, you may lose out on some very easy mark. For those who know these reactions, all these questions are quite easy actually. It's simply asking find the molar mass of CaOC. But we are unnecessarily making it a complicated question to show it to be a big question, but it is not a big question. You know first reaction and you know the answer. Okay? So don't get bogged by the length of the question or the volume of the question. तो फुसकुंडा असू शकतो. मोठा प्रश्न दिसला म्हणून घाबरून जाऊ नका. त्यातलं कीवर्ड्स अंडरलाईन करा, कीवर्ड्स बघा आणि क्वेश्चन नीट समजून घ्या. काय विचारलंय ते समजून घ्या. Particularly maths, physics, and mole questions. See the unit in which the answer is asked. because that is where we will try to goof you up. Now coming to the last question, concept of water of crystallization. Now once again, this whole table I found in ICSC book, I think. In SSC book also there is a this table, ICSC 10 chapter, page 59, table 3.2. It has more compounds with its water crystallization and the formulae. So if you know this table by heart, then you can attempt any such questions. You know the water crystallization compound formula of magnesium sulfate and the answer is 07. So this is simply memory based question because there's nothing that you can contemplate last moment. You know the compound, you know it, you don't know it, you don't. So this is the table I found in your this chapter 10, page 59, table 3.2, in which there are so many compounds. Water of crystallization is attached to the compound. It is not a compounded state. Okay, it is a very, 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 what you will say, beautiful crystals. If you see copper sulfate blue crystals under a microscope, you will see beautiful structures. And when you heat, what happens is this water evaporates and you get the amorphous colorless powder. Generally, crystalline salts are colored and crystalline. And when you remove water crystallization, they become colorless powder. Some colors also of these, if you can identify and keep in your mind, blue vitriol is blue, then Epsom salt is white, but the ferrous sulfate, ferrous sulfate is green in color. So this is a memorization question for sure. So that is where we end the discussion of our paper. We still have 10 minutes to go. So if you have any doubts from anywhere or from this paper, you can ask me. And in the remaining days also, if you are studying really hard and if you come across some very genuine doubts, some answers in the answer key, 1 or 2 answers were not correct. I have sent the corrections, but I will cross check if they are not being still entered. I will see to it that they are corrected. For example, this one question that we came across to. Yes, yes.
Ma'am, I had a doubt in the eighth question.
Mm-hmm.
I was unable to recall the reaction, but I was able to find the molar mass of C with the help of the molar mass of aluminum. So, are we going to get the molar masses of aluminum or
Yes, is
something?
everything. हे सगळे atomic masses list मध्ये असणार. तुम्हाला काही पाठ नाही करायचं.
Ma'am, but I saw in the list, the above one,
Huh.
aluminum was not mentioned in that.
या क्वेश्चन पेपरच्या का?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके. It should have been given actually.
मॅम जर एक्झाम मध्ये असं असेल तर मग
You can ask. You can ask the somebody over there, and we will have our subject experts over there.
okay,
Just in case something like that happens, that how did you do this? Just tell me.
ma'am, I calculated the molar masses of A and B or the difference between them and applied it in the second equation.
Okay, that is great.
So I sort of used some maths.
Maths. That is brilliant. Okay. So just in see, normally if aluminum atomic mass is not given, that is definitely a flaw, I'll say because our rule is that for all the elements mentioned in the paper, you always give list of atomic numbers and atomic masses. Okay. Just in case something like that happens, and you want the atomic mass or molecular mass, atomic number, atomic mass of any element, you can call on the supervisor and the subject expert will come and give you the value.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. Okay, anything else?
Ma'am, I have solved all your question paper. Can you refer me
Okay.
where I can get more questions?
Yeah, for example, this one which I gave, and 2, 3 other corrections. Just let me quickly check if I can give it to you right across. Yeah. So now question 2 is 12, question 4 is 250, and question 9 is 127 for this April 30 paper. I think it is printed only 27. जिथे 127 आहे ना तिकडे नुसता 27 प्रिंट झालाय क्वेश्चन 9 ला आणि जिथे 250 आहे क्वेश्चन 4 ला तिथे नुसता 25 प्रिंट झालाय. आणि क्वेश्चन 2 ला 11 आहे तो 12 हे ते तर रॉंगच आहे. आणि बाकी 2 ठिकाणी मला वाटतं ते फक्त एक डिजिट प्रिंट नाही झालाय बाय मिस्टेक. आणि जानेवारी 2023 ला क्वेश्चन 2 चा आन्सर 3 आहे ते 30 प्रिंट झालाय. क्वेश्चन 3 चा आन्सर 60 आहे ते 0 प्रिंट झालाय. आणि क्वेश्चन 4 चा आन्सर 20 आहे ते पण 0 प्रिंट झालं. I will post this on our group so everybody will have it as a reference. And for all other papers, if you are not satisfied with the answers, I have all the papers with solutions ready. You can just post on the group if you wish to cross check की सगळे पेपर्स केलेत तुम्ही पण कुठला तरी आन्सर तुमचा मॅच होत नाहीये with the answer given in the answer key and you feel your answer is correct, you can just post that question to me. I will confirm the answer or for that matter the solution. So one thing
Ma'am,
as I
where can I
said,
get,
yes.
ma'am, where can I get
Where can you get what?
Ma'am, I have practiced all the papers available on the website. So I
Yes.
want to practice more papers.
No,
So
no,
where
no.
can I get
No need to practice more papers. Revisit the same papers and try to build to yourself the peripheral questions of those questions. की जसं आपण आता इथे बघितलं. आता दुसरी कुठची पण तू स्वतः आयडेंटिफाय कर ना रिॲक्शन की ज्याच्यामध्ये 2 ठिकाणी सेम कंपाऊंड आहे. आणि मग काय क्वेश्चन डिझाईन होऊ शकतो. इन्स्टेड ऑफ फाइंडिंग फॉर मोर रेडीमेड पेपर्स, design your own questions peripheral to this. Okay, so no need to do the papers again if you are thorough with the questions, and as I said, the question is never going to come again. So if you now know redox reactions, scan through the entire textbooks of 8, 9, 10. प्रत्येक रिॲक्शन स्कॅन करायचा प्रयत्न कर, रिडॉक्स आहे का नॉन रिडॉक्स आहे. दॅट विल बी वन प्रिपरेशन इन इटसेल्फ. Scan through all reactions which are double decomposition आहेत का. मग रिॲक्टिव्हिटी सिरीज लास्ट टाइमच्या आपल्या पेपरमध्ये कसं होतं, रिॲक्टिव्हिटी सिरीज वरती बेस्ड काही रिॲक्शन्स होत होत्या आणि काही नव्हत्या होत. तशा रिॲक्शन स्कॅन कर की ही रिॲक्शन होते का, कशाच्या बेसवर ही होते, रिॲक्टिव्हिटी सिरीजवर होते का रिडॉक्स म्हणून होते का डिकम्पोजिशन म्हणून होते, का होते ही रिॲक्शन? मग ह्यातल्या कुठच्या रिॲक्शन्स आपण गेलुझॅक्सनी करू शकतो की जिथे सगळ्या रिॲक्टन्स आणि प्रॉडक्ट्स गेशियस फॉर्म मध्ये आहेत, मग त्याचं व्हॉल्यूम कोऑर्डिनेट्स काय आहेत? सो टेक वन question and apply it to the entire syllabus and generate thousands of more questions instead of looking for ready-made papers. Now do constructive work in this way. Confirm that you know the formulae of all the compounds. Confirm that you know the formulae of all polyatomic ions. And if you're so sure that you know everything now, then focus more on maths and physics questions. Design your own variations. जसं आता सोनेश और सॅटर्डेला डिस्कस करतील की एक प्रॉब्लेम डिस्कस केलाय, दुसरा प्रॉब्लेम डिस्कस केलाय, मे बी ह्यातला एक पार्ट आणि ह्यातला एक पार्ट मिळून एक तिसरा प्रॉब्लेम होईल. सो प्रॉब्लेम 1 चे त्याच्यामध्ये आपण कुठले कुठले स्मॉल स्टेप्स प्रूव्ह केले ते लक्षात घ्या. नॉट दॅट फक्त तोच प्रॉब्लेम कळलाय. आपण कुठले कुठले छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स प्रूव्ह केले. दुसरा प्रॉब्लेम फिजिक्स मध्ये पण असं होऊ शकतं की कुठल्या तरी एका प्रॉब्लेम मधला एक कॉन्सेप्ट आणि दुसरा प्रॉब्लेम मधला दुसरा कॉन्सेप्ट पूल होऊन एक प्रश्न होऊ शकतो. सो डीप स्टडी मध्ये जा. दोज हू फील दॅट दे हॅव फिनिश्ड डुइंग ऑल द पेपर्स, नेव्हर फील दॅट. See if there is another way, particularly in maths. Is there any other way in which you can do the same problem? In that journey, you will discover so many things and so many learning moments for yourself, where you will have smart ways to think, where you will have multiple ways to think, where you will have elegant ways to think on the same problem. Similar in chemistry, just now, like Shreyas said, that he didn't know the chemistry, but he used maths to land on the answer, which is a brilliant thing. So your strength in maths, use in chemistry, use in physics. Do clever work, just like Prashant sir said, that if you're going to do everything like what others are doing, how will you have that cutting edge? Are you aware of the competition? 300 children are sitting, only 20 are going to get selected. At the most 20, not even 20, if they don't score above the cutoff. Only 10 may score above the cutoff. So if you wish to get on the above the cutoff line, and if you wish to be selected, you will need to do something more cleverly than what others are doing. Okay. So if you have any other doubts, you can always get in touch with me in the remaining days. Most welcome. Interact on the group directly, because maybe your doubt is someone else's doubt also. So don't put on personal. If you have any doubt, cross-checking any answer, whatever, most welcome for the remaining 8 to 10 days. Make the most of this time. Don't feel that you have been introduced late. In fact, this is the time when you are completely heated up for the exam and you may give your best. So next 8 to 10 days, give your best. दिवस बघू नका, रात्र बघू नका, कम्प्लीट फोकस द्या आणि उरलेला वेळ तुम्हाला तुमच्या बोर्ड एक्झाम साठी पुरेसा आहे. तो पुढचे 8-10 दिवस थोडा स्कूल बोर्ड कडे थोडंसं सेकंड प्रायोरिटी देऊन गिव्ह फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी टू युअर MPI क्लिअरिंग MPI एक्झाम. And the day before the exam, please take sufficient sleep. Don't stay overnight or late night on the day before exam, because if you are sleepy and tired, that may affect your speed and cognition and overall reflex. So परीक्षेच्या आदल्या दिवशी अभ्यास आपला कमी 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 होत कॉन्फिडन्स वाढत 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 गेला पाहिजे. आदल्या दिवशी आपण शांतपणे झोपायचंय. परीक्षेच्या दिवशी सकाळी चांगला फ्रेश आणि हेल्दी ब्रेकफास्ट करून यायचंय. तेलकट तळकट खाऊ नका, पण पोटभरीचं खा. इतकं पण खाऊ नका की झोप लागेल. आणि बरोबर येताना एक इलेक्ट्रोलाइटची बॉटल घेऊन या, सरबताची बाटली घेऊन या, काही पण, लिंबू सरबत, कोकम सरबत. If some people prefer coffee, you can keep a thermos of coffee and keep sipping in between the exams. It is very important to keep yourselves hydrated while you're writing the paper so that you perform your best. These are small tips, but they may give you the cutting edge besides academics. You will need an academic cutting edge, पण ह्या सगळ्यामुळे तुम्ही जर मेंटली थकला नाहीत ना, तुमच्या पोटात साखर जात राहिली परीक्षेच्या मध्ये तर तुमची एनर्जी लेवल डाऊन जाणार नाही आणि प्रॉबेबली यू मे बी एबल टू थिंक टिल द लास्ट मिनिट इन द मॅक्सिमम रिगर. अदरवाईज यू गेट फॅक्ट आउट. आपल्याला माहिती आहे ना, शेवटी संध्याकाळी आपल्याला कोणी जर सांगितलं अमुक अमुक काम करतं, आपण काय म्हणतो, आज नको यार, उद्या. Your battery is down for the day. Like that, your battery will go down in those 3 hours. If you want to keep it charged, simplest way is keep a electrolyte bottle. Those who believe in deep breathing or pranayam, between 2 sections or in between, you can just wait for a couple of seconds, take 2-3 long breaths, and then get back to work. As soon as you read the question, if you feel you are liking it, you're going to get it, tick mark. First attempt 5 questions, 5 best questions from each section. The questions which are unnerving you, don't look at them. That may put your moral down. So first do your best 5, best 5, best 5. Then in the down order, जिथे कमीत कमी कॉन्फिडन्स आहे तिकडे अजून जास्त क्वेश्चन्स करण्याचा प्रयत्न करा. की फिजिक्स मध्ये मी 5 केलेत पण मला त्यातले 2-3 शुअर नाही, तिथे अजून 2-3 करा. केमिस्ट्रीमध्ये मी 5 केलेत त्यातले 4 मी शुअर आहे, रॉंग जाऊच शकत नाही, तर तिथे तुम्ही अजून एखादाच एक्स्ट्रा करून ठेवा. हे लक्षात घ्या गोष्टी. दीज आर द डायनामिक्स विच विल हेल्प यू डू युअर बेस्ट. आणि मॅथ्स मध्ये तर मला 10 केलेच पाहिजेत अटेम्प्ट. केमिस्ट्रीमध्ये 4 माझे नक्की झालेत, म्हणजे मला 4 मार्क नक्की मिळणार आहेत, 4 प्रश्न. फक्त 5वा डायसी आहे, त्याच्या बदली मी अजून 1-2 करून ठेव. या प्रकारचा विचार, स्टॅटिस्टिकल अँड ऑल थॉट्स, they go hand in hand with your academic excellence. Okay, all the very best to you, and always with you in the remaining time and later also. Whether you are a part of MPI or no, we are always personal friends. You can get in touch with me for anything and everything for the rest of our life. All right, all the very best. Can we end the meeting, Prashant?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.